What's up? It's the Gigabyte Grizzly Brohemian, and this is a messed up time we live in, so I need you all to do me a favor. Wear your mask. Like this, not like this, or like this, or like this, like this. Wear your mask. It's for your safety and mine. Because if I see you without one, I'm going to pump kick a mask onto your face. Got it?
Announcement from Benjamin C. Steele talking to you about wearing a mask. Not this one, but this one. With everything going on right now with this pandemic, you need to wear a mask. My mask is for your safety. Your mask is for mine. Now, I don't care what your uncles, brothers, best friends, mailman's roommate from college put on social media. Chances are they didn't think it through, and there's a very better than average chance that they're an idiot. So when you go outside, you put on your little mask over your face, put the little straps around your ears, and we're all going to be a lot safer. This is a team.
Mercer, one half of the tag team champions. I'm here to tell you that if you want to be a champion, if you want to survive this thing, wear your freaking mask, okay? It comes in all different colors. You can get Eclipse Blue, JC White and Black, or even hell, Blue and Gold. But guys, please, also remember, please, it goes over the nose. Over the nose. Thank you.
Parental discretion is advised.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Just Pro Wrestling News Podcast. No filler, no pop-ups. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect.
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 804. Tuesdays, we've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter, here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA, and we are ready to get into it. We got a interesting, intriguing list, stupendous list. Thank you, chat room. But first of all, from Beacon, New York, he's just out there looking for a Batman movie to take a 7-year-old to. It is Mad Mike.
A live action.
Live action. Live action.
It's a very
Super
important
Pets doesn't do
distinction.
it for you?
All right, first of all, that's not about Batman.
I was about to say some of the animated ones aren't good for kids either. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that too.
some of them aren't.
So,
But
we had a little bit of a discussion around the Batman at the end of the Monday Mayhem show.
Okay.
And that's where we came from. But there was that. Say his name. Say his name, damn it, Batman.
Vengeance.
His vengeance.
His
It's barely vengeance. So.
His name is Vengeance L. Batman.
Yes, L. Batman. And you heard
That-
the voice back on the show with a new gig. He's in sport. I'm sad you didn't wear the hat. I don't think you wore that publicly,
I
but
was to say the booking hat.
the booking hat.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that is?
Oh.
Chris LeRusso back on the show. It's been, by God, probably a year since you've been on. So good to have you back.
Great to be back.
We've made some space since you've been here
I
last.
see that. We've taken a few walls out.
Yeah,
we've-
pretty much.
we've-
No, we just moved everything behind a wall.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's pretty much what happened there. So good to have you back.
so much more room for activities.
Yes,
So.
very much so. Very much so. And even room for people to get to the walls to write on, as we've discovered on episode 800.
Christ.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Beastman. But no, looking
His
forward.
name is also Vengeance.
His name is also yes. But no, I'm looking forward to catching up with you.
Absolutely.
You've had a lot going on here. A bit of a career shift, and I'm loving what I'm seeing so far out of it. So we'll talk about that. Ryse Wrestling, big show coming up this week, right?
Yep, absolutely. March 12th at the Uniontown Mall. Come check us out. The Iceman Cometh is
Yes.
the name of the show, main event.
Starring Mr. Iceman.
Yep, the Iceman Tony Johnson, who was never defeated for the Ryse Grand Championship, will be going up against the current champion, Pretty Boy Smooth, and that and so much more. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get to the
Excited.
introduction.
Let's get to it. First of all, please go check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Hit us up at the email address.
Good times.
Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Was there a second voice in there? Did somebody
Mine.
else
Yeah,
pop
I
in?
know this. I know this.
What?
This is like my 20th time on the show. I know this gig.
Yes. I thought somebody popped in on Zoom. I didn't realize that was you. And of course, 412-206-WMS0 is the hotline at Mayhem Show on the Twitter. And of course, hit us up in the Wrestling Mayhem Show group, the Discord. A lot of discussion happening in there. Linked over on WrestlingMayhemShow.com if you want to get on the Discord, on our Reddit page. And of course, we're here live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. No, I'm sorry, that's a different show. 9 p.m.
9 p.m.,
Eastern
yeah.
time. When the guest corrects my time of what time, yes.
You've been doing a little. You need to start delegating responsibility to some of your minions.
We've been doing a little bit of delegating actually lately.
Yeah.
So Dave Ponder's out there doing some great clips for the show that I will now start to actually acknowledge him for on the Twitter and everything. So
Acknowledge it.
yes, acknowledge the pod man. Acknowledge you're the pod man from now on.
No, he's the
So,
tribal gif.
the tribal giffer.
No, just the tribal gif.
The tribal gif. He doesn't do
The
gifs. He
tribal
does
gif,
clips.
Dave Pod.
Rob's been working on it. We have been delegating.
Oh, wait. Then he's the tribal clipper.
The tribal clipper. Huh. Okay. Anyways,
Or the
either way.
clipper chief. I don't know. We're workshopping.
The clipper in chief? In chief? On chief?
No, 'cause
No?
it's got to be 2 words.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
That's what I want now is a my GM mode, but for podcasting. Just like, how do I delegate and create a podcast on no budget? You know, that's it. Just like there's like computer developer, you know. Anyways, beyond that, this is the wrong show for that kind of talk. We are streaming, of course, on the Facebook Live for Wrestling Mayhem Show, as well as the YouTube, on the Twitter, on the Sorgatron Media Twitch, and on the IndieWrestling.us Twitch and YouTube pages. Thank you, everybody, tuning in on all those. I have multiple chat rooms hanging out here. So if you're out there, and Garza, we'll see you. We see you. We see you lurking on the YouTube. You think we're not looking, but we're looking for you. We got the eye out on there. The only blind spot now is Twitter, but because I'm out of tabs. But anyways, glad to be streaming and all that. And also, thank you to our Patreon supporters. I don't think there's been any updates this week, but thank you to our supporters that especially here going into Patreon in the bank for the Mayhem Mania will be coming up here in the next couple weeks. Hopefully, get a date from our proprietor of Mayhem Manias tonight. But thank you to our friends at the fan of the show level, Bo Diggity! Woo! As well as Ed Burke and Team Hammerfist at the Poppy Club level, Dave Ponder and Bobby F. J. Town. At the Pizza Club level, Doc Remedy, Kyle Turner, and the Riz Plays Games. And at the manager level, Bradley, Tina Keys, and at the $37 clerks level, which he created for himself, Mad Mike.
Yep.
37.
37. If you know, you know.
In a row.
Yes.
In a row.
If you're a 90s nerd like us, you know. Yes. So, we will not state it just in case Junior is watching. Do that for you, Tina. I know, that's the only thing we won't say on this show. But anyways, let's...
Oh, God, Bradley's in the chat.
Is Bradley in the chat?
Bradley's in the chat.
Oh, no.
I'm going to put a bunch of butt emojis.
Yeah, I found some books for him in Target the other day. Anyways, big news this week. Well, first of all, let's touch on Vince McMahon had a chat with Pat McAfee last week, which I enjoyed as the interview went. Vince settled more into it and realized, like, Vince explaining things going on and dropping a random F-bomb just in explanation was the most humanizing thing of the whole thing, obviously. But it was nice. It was nice.
I think
to
the
see
most
Vince
humanizing thing was that he kept hitting the microphone.
Yes. Oh no, very familiar with that. You know, how many guests have hit those microphones over there? You know, doing things. If Vince and Brock Lesnar are not immune from podcasting faux pas, it kind of makes me feel good. Also, the audio engineering and technique on that microphone technique on that show drives me insane. I can't believe this is a serious radio show.
Not only a serious radio show, but he got a lot of money for that.
Yeah, seriously, it's like, oof. But anyways, yeah, no, I obviously there's things that people are going to nitpick at. Talked about cut and dead rate from the roster and things like that, which people immediately attacked, which really it kind of seemed like an offhand comment, which I don't think Vince even has any weight in whatsoever. From the sounds of the way things went down, but generally, I love hearing the story, just thinking about how Vince is a guy that grew up in a trailer park to become, it's kind of like a great American story to a certain point, right? And how much this is like a mom and pop company up until, let's say, 2000.
Well, I mean, it's a massive. There's so many people have the misconception of Vince McMahon that he was born into luxury, and I don't think that he actually met his father until he was a teenager. And Vince has said in prior interviews how horrible his growing up in, I think it was South Carolina, was, and he had a very bad relationship with his stepfather. And the Vince McMahon that we sort of have come to know really has a very humanizing story, and we don't see Vince doesn't show that side of him almost ever. I mean, there's been limited interviews, and I think the last time that he did sort of an interview with an outside entity was more than 15 years ago, and there's a reason for that.
That was the Bob Costas
Yeah, I mean,
one,
there
right?
was the Costas one. There was, I can't remember the other one where he snatched the papers out of someone's hand.
Was that the one where they actually showed like their cameras also caught the interview to show the unedited, like what happened kind of thing?
And I mean, and Vince, some would say for very good reason, is very suspicious of outside press, that they have an agenda, that they, that this interview is coming in with an agenda. I think one of the refreshing things is that he knows McAfee doesn't.
Yes.
McAfee's not beholden to him. He's got his own empire.
Yes.
He's got his own, so in some ways he can challenge Vince.
And you can tell that they have fostered a little bit of a, I mean, he's in his ear all night on Friday nights for 2 hours, right? So it's not like for what, like a year now? So they have a working relationship, friendship, and that's what was coming out, and that was comfortable for him, right?
Yeah, and again, because McAfee has his own media empire, and he really does. The Pat McAfee show does great numbers, and I tune in fairly regularly, and when I can, I catch the clips. But so he was able to broach subjects that the internal WWE media, won't dare ask, won't dare to come across, and Vince will give his honest answers. One of the ones that I found really intriguing, and it's the one I disagreed with the most, but I think it was the one that was maybe the most telling about Vince's worldview, at least when it comes to wrestling, is that he said, we don't call them wrestlers, we call them WWE superstars. He said, because anyone can be a wrestler, not anyone can be a WWE superstar. Now, he did try to qualify that. He said anyone can be a wrestler, good wrestlers and bad wrestlers. He tried to sort of massage the... I would argue that it's the other way around. That, there are some people who can be WWE superstars who are not wrestlers.
Okay.
And there are some people who are, some of the greatest pro wrestlers in the world who in Vince's eyes can't be WWE superstars. And it was an interesting look on how he sort of, the dividing line in his mind.
Then this is branding. This is the other thing. This is branding.
No, see, I don't think it's just branding. See,
Okay.
You're right. It is branding.
Yeah.
But, to look at some other recent interviews, what was it that Brian Danielson said that, I just want to bleed every once in a while. And Vince said, well, I'm sorry that I can't give that to you. And
that's not my product.
That's
not what we do here.
That's not what we do here. Pro wrestling. And he has a vision in his mind that there is that line between pro wrestling and sports entertainment, WWE superstar, or pro wrestler and WWE superstar. And for a lot of people, they thought it was that's just branding. That's just, Vince is trying to be. No, he sees a massive difference in his mind.
Well, I think it's also not him that drew that line.
I think it's a collective thing over the years, right?
I think there was a line that was drawn when the company went public.
I arguably before that too. Yeah,
that they can occasionally tiptoe across. But you're never going to get stuff that you saw in 98, 99 ever again.
No.
And I mean, you're not going to see Mid-South stuff. You're not going to see stuff that you're not going to see stuff from the history of pro wrestling, the absolute bloodbaths, the wild brawls, in the crowd. You won't see the ECW influence quite as much. But I just found it very interesting, his mindset on this, because as I, am a trainer at a pro wrestling school, I've had to tell people, when you send stuff to AEW or to Impact, say this, 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 and this. And when you're going to send stuff to WWE, tell them that you were a college football player. Tell them that you played. Tell them that you played in the CFL. Emphasize different things. And if the fact that you can throw a drop kick, make that a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
Yeah, they want to know if you're a well-rounded character.
And
Because anything that they don't like about your in-ring, they can fix or
cover.
Or
change.
cover.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll give you an example. Alexander Apollo, who I've trained. Apollo played college football. He's actually a college nose tackle, which, you know, looking at him now, you're like, nose tackle? Really? Okay.
I think we did film like one match with him at 2PW, so I'm familiar with him. Yeah.
And, you know, so I think he's really like starting to put it together as far as the in-ring. You know, he looks a lot more comfortable. He moves better. He's got a great look. His physique's improved. So when, you know, he's trying to get into the, you know, the pro wrestling world, you know, show the match you had with Nystrom, show this, show that, you know, da-da-da-da. But I told him, I was like, the first words out of your mouth when you send something to WWE should be, I was a nose tackle in college. And I played, you know, and it's strange that there's like parallel things to emphasize, even though the skill set, you know, some would say you eventually need to develop the same skill set, but depending on whether you're going to try and be a WWE superstar or you're going to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it really struck me a few years ago when they were talking about it as more of a casting thing. You know, or we've seen. I think people we both know have been turned away. Be like, oh, we have too many X-looking people right now, so we're not hiring you because you're just another X-looking person.
Can I mean, this. All right, I'll say this one because I mean, like, I don't know how, if it's, you know, inside information or not. Damian Priest, when he was Punishment Martinez, I mean, he was fantastic. He was amazing, and they were told when, you know, when people would advocate for him. This was not from Punishment. This was from one of his coaches. Would advocate for him, and they're saying, "Well, we're looking for that next big, you know, Latino superstar. We're looking for that." And it's like, look, you got Punishment Martinez right here. He's like, you know, he's 6'7". He moves like a cat. He's like, and apparently, and I don't want to quote who said this, he was the wrong kind of Latino because he was Puerto Rican. He wasn't Mexican.
Okay.
He was of Puerto Rican heritage. And, you know, your jaw drops when you hear something like, but it was that specific. They were looking for a Mexican superstar at the time, and they were looking for something to appeal
because they want to be able to roll into Mexico City and say, "Here's your hometown guy."
Exactly, and as good as Punishment Martinez was, and I mean, he was so good that he eventually became Damian Priest. So, but it is interesting how specific the casting gets. Then again, I think the cream rises to the top, and, you know, Cole Carter and Nikita Knight just, you know, just two people trained to be pro wrestlers, you know. I have a feeling we're going to see them sometime soon.
Nikita has a competitive cheerleading background.
Yes,
was that right?
Yes,
so.
and Cole was a high school athlete as well.
I was going to say, because Bradley's in the chat room asking what did Cole Carter tell WWE to get him hired so quick. So, I think that's it right there, right?
Well, and then there's another thing. I mean, not to be crass, but fucking look at him.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Oh, no, there is definitely a thing. And you're probably the same thing. Like, I'll look at a guy like Cole that walks into a show, you know, and just say, you know, Wardlow was another one and was like, well, he's going to be signed any day now, right? Like look at the guy.
Wardlow's an interesting case, too, because, you know, I think, you know, he had the tryout with WWE, and we have too many big
guys that look like big Wardlow-looking guys.
Big muscle guys.
Good-looking muscle guys. They're 6 foot, 5 or something? Yeah.
And I mean, like, you know, I bet they're kicking themselves now for all those muscle guys that were in developmental.
And to be fair, it's not like they threw him right on stage. I mean, how many matches did Wardlow have in the first 2 years of AEW? Like a handful. I mean, one of them was with Cody in a steel cage.
In a steel cage in Atlanta. I mean, yes, it was one of the most
he's had some high profile, but it's not like he was really like, you know, we were shoving him up to be, you know, facing the champion, you know, in a main event of a pay-per-view or anything like that. Like you know, you're seeing the same. You know, Jade is, you know, you could say is getting a little hot-shotted, but, you know, obviously is somebody that has a work in progress, has an undeniable look and ability, but again, a little, you know, hard around the edges around wrestling ability, but she is getting there, and she will be there.
She's also built in their own personal.
That's
training
right.
facility.
She's a
So
power
goes to her
plant.
every
Yeah,
day.
she's a power plant girl.
Like
you know,
we were
Nightmare
looking
Factory.
for,
yeah.
we were looking
Nightmare
for a
Factory.
comparison for
Mhm.
Jade. The comparison's Braun Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real
an,
comparison.
that's an apt comparison, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Braun also grew
Second
up.
generation superstar.
Yeah, I
you know.
consider like
Second generation, but his first match was in September.
yeah, but I mean, you know, I
his
feel
first match that that we know about. Who's to say that he could have been
Cage
thrown?
match.
He could have been thrown
Cage match has
suplexes.
nothing else before him.
but that doesn't.
What
mean,
does that mean? He could have been
I
throwing
think
suplexes in the backyard when he was 15.
I think the
Yeah.
kid was born in an armbar, okay? Because into that family. Let's be clear on this. You know, you don't grow up around the Rick's kid, right?
Yes.
You don't grow up around that family without picking up a few things
I was about to
before
say,
you even step in.
yeah, he's Rick's kid, but he's also Scott's nephew.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Those were your two most,
And-
present influences.
Yeah, I'm
you
sure he was tumbling around a ring before Nitros or something, when he was 5, so or whatever. I probably have the age wrong.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't know if Braun was
I don't think-
alive when Nitro was on the air.
To sort of circle back, I mean, with Vince McMahon's, Vince shows this so rarely that there are. I mean, you've heard the reports of people who have said like, "Oh, Vince McMahon is senile. Vince McMahon's, he fell asleep in the middle of a booking meeting, or he changes his mind 2 and 3 times. He's lost his mind. He doesn't know who's working for the. You hear all these stories, and the thing is because he shows so little of himself, it allows those stories to,
they grow on their own.
they grow on
Yeah.
their own.
Yeah.
And so you would think that based upon some people's reports that, Vince is tied up in the blinds somewhere while Bruce Pritchard books the show, and you then see him on this interview and he's sharp and he's witty and he's,
I hope I'm that good going when I'm 76 years old.
and
Holy
how
crap.
in the hell does he look that good on McAfee's show? And then, when he's on the Survivor Series with the egg, he looks like it's a $10 million egg. It's like, is he all right?
Yeah, he's looked so.
But see, that's Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, that's him.
not Vince.
That's him in like acting mode versus this was Vince kicking back, and he happened to have like a microphone he kept bumping. No, absolutely. Like I think the distinction of Vince is self-admittedly out of touch. Vince has grown a thing that has worked a certain way, and this is the there's the innovator's dilemma idea. I won't get into look it up, but like Google can only innovate so much when they get so big, right? I mean, when's the last time you had something special come out? Google or
No, they buy something
Oh
special.
yeah, they buy something special, right? Or Facebook, they buy something else. Apple, though I think you can have an argument for Apple these days. But anyways, otherwise. Like WWE's at this. This is what's worked. This is what is working. Also, they're making. You can't tell anybody in WWE they're doing something wrong when the bank account says differently.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And Vince, and also there's this interesting thing of, I feel like I want to get into this a different day because I feel like this is a half-hour conversation. Like everybody that does good and fits into WWE, is good and family and has value. I mean, as far as that goes, and I've always said anybody that doesn't make it in WWE doesn't just means they can't make it in WWE. Doesn't mean they're any less of a pro wrestler. And now that there's another great platform of AEW. And the Impacts and the Ring of Honors, we'll get to that, and New Japan's and everything. Like, there's still, like, options and careers. It's not WWE or bust, which I think is fantastic right now.
This is from WWE down, this is the best. And I know that that's a weird quantifier because that's sort of it has a quality aspect to it. But there are more options, and wrestling is better and cooler than it has been in 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best that wrestling has been in a quarter century.
I mean, my God, it's everywhere, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just, it's there everywhere. Everyone's on their show.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can moan about Bad Bunny, Johnny Knoxville, and Logan Paul being regulars on Raw and taking up spots at WrestleMania, but that's the show. That is the show. It's an all-star. They've called it for Triple H for like 10 years has been talking about how it's a variety show, and Vince before that, and Stephanie, and it really is. Down to like guest starring the Muppets one week to now this kind of thing, and it's a bunch of people that want to be part of it that are stars in other facets, and that's look at WrestleMania 1. That was the stars are coming out.
Liberace and Muhammad Ali.
That's right. Bad Bunny is our Liberace of 2022.
And people, again, because of preconceived notions and opinions about these various individuals, I guarantee you the, hardcore wrestling fans of 1984 looked at Liberace the same way that people look at Bad Bunny today. What is he doing on...
Or Cyndi Lauper.
Or Mr. T. Actually, Mr. T would be a more apt comparison because he was in the ring, right? And he was a movie star. He was Rocky III and the A-Team, right? And what are you doing?
Baracus.
Yes, and Piper.
Or like Zeus. Zeus was brought in from a movie tie-in. Like,
Yep.
So it's very interesting to see, as we are in WrestleMania season and we're kind of looking at, the business as a whole, if we can kind of pull back to a 1,000-yard view, we get very caught, people in the business and wrestling fans get very caught up in minutia. This match sucked. This segment was bad. This thing is like, you know what? It's better now than it's been in a long time. And if it's a matter of taste, there's something for you somewhere.
Big time. Even if it's just wrestlers fighting over chocolate, which is the thing. Or wrestling at a beach. Sorry, this wrestling universe is freaking... Garza just shared that they're going to do wrestling matches on a train, and I am here for it.
boy, that sounds...
Thank you, Japan.
That sounds ill-advised.
Well, I mean, we did have the... What was the one that... was it...
the King of the Road match.
The Blacktop...
Blacktop Bully and Dustin Rhodes.
Which was Darso, wasn't it? Repo Man Smash, right? So, I mean...
And they both bled buckets, and they were both fired immediately. So...
Oh, boy. But anyways...
I wonder what Twitter would have been like when we found out Lawrence Taylor was main eventing at WrestleMania.
Oh, seriously? Bullet Train Wrestling is... I don't know. It was a picture of an old-timey... train on the article, and it was all in Japanese, and I didn't get a chance to translate it. So Garza will have to fill us in. I know you're out there on YouTube, Garza. Anyways, we should just get Garza on to tell us about like why we should be watching DDT Pro. Anyways, excuse me. Speaking of the wrestling business as a whole, Chris, I'm glad to have you here because you've spent some time with this one promotion. Ring of Honor getting purchased, announced by Tony Khan, purchased by Tony Khan. The all intents seem to be looking at it as sort of a developmental ground plus having the lineage and back catalog of Ring of Honor in good hands and not somebody like Sinclair that not anything against, well, you could say something against Sinclair, but outside of wrestling, but again, somebody who appreciates it other than just a thing that's on your channel, right? So I don't know. First, what are your you were there? I know you were at the Top Prospect tournament. I've only recently forgiven Josh Woods because he's such a nice guy for beating you so quick. So a couple weeks ago at WrestlePit, but yeah, what were your thoughts as somebody who did spend some time there around that?
A couple things. I mean, one, it's going to be very interesting that at some point I will be on the AEW network. So
hey, sure.
I was on a couple of their televisions, so it's going to be very interesting. Kidding aside,
I love when I'm looking you up on HBO Max or something.
Oh, Christ. I really do think that Ring of Honor needed to survive. When I saw that they went into hiatus, I was like, oh, this isn't good.
No.
Because anytime you're like, well, we're going to come back bigger and better. I mean, how many restaurants were going to come back bigger and better? How many people really, does the reboot... First of all, does the reboot happen? And second of all, is the reboot able to sustain? It's in Tony Khan's hands. Tony Khan has shown over the past 3 years with AEW that he is able to maintain a business, that he's able to, he is not going to just spend carelessly. And I think that's a misconception about Tony is that he's just, he'll just buy all the wrestlers. He'll just buy all the, No, there's been some evidence that he's actually being very smart and that he is not going to just, I think the Cody situation was he's not just going to hand his roster a blank check and, that he is being intelligent with his money. I don't know AEW's books, but it appears that they're profitable. It appears that their TV deals are doing well. It appears that there's been a demand for content on multiple channels.
And I can't imagine that they're less necessarily in the profitability part, but also, I think there was, we were talking about on the show recently, there was, they went into it. I think Tony was saying, like, I know this will be a money loser for up to 4 years.
Then he may be ahead of schedule for all I know.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, they got so many TV deals, and that's growing exponentially. So, I mean,
and then the demand for on-demand content is going to go up. And he just acquired thousands of hours of content. What is Ring of Honor going to be like right when it comes back? I mean, we've seen that they've got their Mania weekend show.
There was a plan already in motion, of some sort.
Bandito and Jonathan Gresham. I don't think they're going to abandon that. Whatever they were going to do on Mania weekend, I think they're probably going to continue to do Mania weekend. But Meltzer had a very interesting, observation when a company acquires somebody who's doing something similar to them. When a MMA company acquires another MMA company. One of two things happens. One, you make one of the companies so distinctly different that it can stand on its own and that it can be that you can find something unique there. For example, when the UFC bought WEC, WEC was mostly lighter weight fighters, 155 and down. UFC didn't have anyone that light. They were kind of middleweights and up. So that was the thing. It was like, you got middleweights, bantamweights, lightweights that you couldn't see anymore. Eventually, the UFC sort of assumed them. And
NXT as a secondary, it was the smaller work rate wrestlers, and
it
had
was
that vibe.
different. It was different enough that it could sort of stand on its own.
Yeah.
Now, what can Ring of Honor be that's going to be different? I've heard arguments that if it's going to be just what it was, you might as well just sign all of the good Ring of Honor wrestlers and start running, and Ring of Honor just becomes a tape library and you just run in smaller venues as AEW. Arguably because AEW is right now the stronger brand. Do you maybe, because, one of the things people have argued about AEW is that, on the one hand, you're going to have these super intense, brutal, really adult, I don't say adult, but, the angle with MJF and CM Punk where Punk bled buckets. And then, in the, next segment, there's Orange Cassidy, kicking someone in the shin. I'm not saying one is good and one is bad.
But they're different.
But they're very different.
Yeah.
So do you make one of your products very intense and very realistic and blood and violence and MMA inspired wrestling, almost that shoot style stuff, and make another one more, entertainment? I don't know. Do you make it a weight class thing? Do you make it a developmental? So I'm curious as to kind of what direction they go. From what I've seen, Tony has not indicated that he's going to change Ring of Honor that much. But, I mean, then in that case, AEW was clearly the stronger, cooler brand over the past 3 years.
Well, the thing we don't know that I don't think has been clarified yet is, do they keep their TV deal? And I think that's still
up in the air.
Up in the air. Along with this, he has no contracts.
He has no wrestlers.
And he has a company with no wrestlers.
Yeah.
Which even before the purchase, the word on the street was anybody that is coming back was going to be a per appearance situation, not a contract as they were before.
I don't think anyone re-signed, and I've seen both people that I know and some people who've made comments on Twitter when, there were people who were contacted and was like, "Oh man, congratulations!" and like, I'm not under contract anymore. And is there a possibility that Tony Khan might sign these people back? Possibly. Is there a possibility that we may see sort of that the group that's on Dark now kind of matriculate into Ring of Honor? Does basically Ring of Honor take the place of Dark? And
I think personally, if there's no Sinclair deal, I think Ring of Honor becomes a YouTube show like MLW.
Yeah,
personally, I think that's what they'll have that. They have, maybe they start with the Honor Club and that grows into an AEW network of some sort.
Does this become perhaps a streaming exclusive show? Something that if they do get that deal with HBO Max or we do get the AEW network, do you have it as sort of a streaming only, but scheduled? 8 o'clock on Tuesdays,
hey, we'll be over here. Just like we just got announced today, Friday Night Baseball is coming, if there's a season, to Apple TV. So, everybody's looking for that kind of content, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So long as it doesn't go to Bleacher Report.
I am very,
because fuck those
I'm
guys.
very happy. I made this comment, and I don't consider myself a Ring of Honor guy. I made probably less than 20 appearances for them, but I will say that I made friends and mentors through Ring of Honor that I've stayed in contact to this day. And there are some of my development and some of my philosophy in wrestling was sculpted by Ring of Honor and by the people I met at Ring of Honor. So I'm always going to have an affection for them, and I'm always going to have an affection for my time there. So I'm glad. I'm very glad that those experiences and that hopefully some of the friends and mentors that I made there are going to have profitable careers moving forward.
Absolutely. And just quick notes here. Ponders remind us in the chat room, it's also a thing to remember that it was Tony who bought ROH, not AEW. So because I think he talked about it as like a subsidiary that he was working through and everything like that. So it's just he started an LLC, put it in a bucket, that kind of thing. And so what that means, how it's going to be run, will be interesting. There obviously will be crossover, I think. But yeah, I'm curious. We'll see. I feel like this is a thing we check in on in 3 months to see how it's going, kind of thing. And it could go a lot of ways that we don't know the landscape, to be honest. So very interesting. So, well, we're going to take a focus here momentarily on in a moment. Momentarily in a moment? Yeah, sure. Damn it, my transitions. But we're going to take a look at the little bit more local scene here, what's going on in Pittsburgh. But in the meantime, speaking of local, let's talk about IndieWrestling.us, where we're, hey, the stuff we're talking about is going to be on there, is on there. Our friends at Ryse Wrestling, with a Y, as well as our friends at Prospect Pro Wrestling, the new Victory Championship Wrestling, where one promoter wrote on my wall already. And
were you aware that was happening?
It happened, and I couldn't stop it because I was back here live on the show. And we talked about how we've always wanted to have something for people to sign when they come in for the show, and then he just went and found a Sharpie and did it. And so,
that's your fault. You put that thought out into the universe. It was
episode 800, so we were kind of reminiscing, and then I guess he was.
I've been telling Sword for years he needed to get a chalkboard wall in the studio.
Yeah, but I don't know about chalkboard, but. Missy's like, I wanted something we could take with us. It's on the wall, I was like, yeah, and that's why we haven't done it 4 years into the studio. But anyways, Victory Championship Wrestling, Ryse Wrestling, Prospect Pro Wrestling, Renegade Wrestling Alliance. A lot of great stuff there. Back catalog. Check that out on the network, on VOD. We got all that, plus our friends at Pro Wrestling Conquest. We got a great show. They just announced Jock Sampson and Warhorse is going to happen on the 25th this month.
I might buy a ticket to that.
We might have a little bit of a caravan going down there of people working, so we'll get you a seat. But anyways, our friends at Warrior Wrestling is now on there as well. We'll be updating some of the shows because they got agreements with Fight and everything. So we got to take our time. Our friends at Wrestle Pit, you can check out the first show over on VOD for our friends over at Wrestle Pit, who just had a great show. That'll be on in about 4 weeks. For VODs too. So please, but in the meantime, obviously go support those guys over on Fight, on Title Match, wherever they may be, and when they come over on Indie Wrestling, if you happen to like our platform. A lot of great stuff. Plus, don't forget the YouTube Members Program. You can see the back catalogs. I think everything we got is up there, from Ryse to PW. Now Victory Championship Wrestling, RWA, and a few other promotions that aren't around anymore that are a part of that, and best ofs and things like that. For that's only $4.99 a month, and wherever you can watch YouTube, you'll be able to check it out. So please go check that out, and you'll get some special icons and stuff when you're in the chat room. Maybe we're watching this show on YouTube over at the IndieWrestling.us feed. Like I see Hakeem's over there on YouTube. I think he's on the Mayhem show one. Hey, what's up? Go check that out. A lot of great stuff going on there on IndieWrestling.us. And I'm losing my voice, so I'm going to start asking questions so Chris can take the helm here for a minute. So I don't know what's going on here. So Chris, obviously, you've been years working with IWC, International Wrestling Cartel, but you had a bit of a transition, and now you have a new role with Ryse Wrestling, one of our favorites here on the show.
Yes. First of all, I want to make something abundantly clear is that I still have a great relationship with IWC, with Justin Plummer, with the Iron City Wrestling Academy. There was no falling out. There was no real issues. And, I say this with absolutely no hesitation. The best years of my career with IWC. What happened is that an opportunity presented itself that management at Ryse was looking to make a change in their matchmaking capacity, and I've had opportunities to be on the pitching ideas side of wrestling, and most talent does. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about this? And I've assisted people in booking, being creative, agenting, however you want to put it, but in all my experience, I was always sort of on the, I was at the table, but I was never at the head of the table. And this was an opportunity to do something I've never done in wrestling. I've obviously been in the ring for almost 20 years. I've had an opportunity to be a trainer. I found that incredibly rewarding and very, very much enjoyed doing that. I've agented, I've done commentary, I've, done a lot of things. This was one area that I had never done. And before I go any further, I want to make one other thing very clear. One of the things that made this appealing to me was the work of the prior booker, Marcus Mann. And Marcus, worked tirelessly. He worked so hard to make sure that Ryse, it was his baby, it was his vision, and him and Brandon both worked incredibly hard to bring an alternative, something different to the Pittsburgh scene. And I think that I would not have been quite as quick to accept it if it had not been for Marcus's work and the foundation that he had laid. And I want to make sure that he gets the credit that he deserves for all the hard work they had. But now that I've taken this job, and I think I now understand a lot of bookers a lot better, and I can understand maybe when they were on their last nerve. And it is an incredibly demanding position to be in. And the first show that we had, it was Keep It Playa. That was probably, with the exception of maybe the Top Prospects tournament, that might have been the most stressful 48 hours before a show that I've ever had. It was, there were last-minute changes. There were all kinds of issues. And but I've taken this role for a couple of reasons. One, again, the challenge, something I've never done. I mean, time will tell. I might end up sucking at this. Let's be honest. I mean, like you know, how many people have said, like, oh, God damn it, who the fuck is booking this shit? I can do a fucking better job at this than all that. All right.
Welcome to our show every week.
You know,
actually, right?
Who the fuck is booking this shit? Oh, fuck, I'm booking this shit. Oh, no. Oh, crap. But no, I mean, a lot of people, you know, I don't think people realize how hard it is. It's very easy, I think, to do this job for like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting a little hard at 6 months. There are some people who have been booking nonstop for year after year after year after year. And, you know, I'm looking forward to the challenge. One of the other things is that, you know, my in-ring career is probably drawing to a close. I'm closer to 40 than I am to 20. And, you know, again, 20 years, I've having no major injuries, you know, knock on wood, but things are starting to accumulate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, you know, I was suffering from headaches. I was suffering from some reoccurring, you know, nothing major, but enough to get your attention. And, you know, I also was looking at what my in-ring contributions were and looking at all the incredible talent, not just at IWC, but, you know, at the other places that I was working in the ring, at Revenge, at Imagine, at IWC. And I see the young talent out there, and I, you know, what is the thing that I can do to contribute the most to these shows? You know, maybe it's not being in the ring. Maybe it's being backstage. Maybe this is the way I can contribute to the show and to the scene to the best of my ability, and let some of those young superstars, you know, whether it be, you know, the Cole Carters, the Spencer Slades, the Money Shots, you know, Katie Arquette, Alexander Apollo, the Rad Boys, you know, PB Smooth, all the, I mean, and if I didn't name your name, forgive me. I don't want to be here all night. Boy, look at that. Talk about the, you know, funny story about that. I think the most people who have ever seen me work have seen it's this match that they've seen.
Yeah, this is we're looking at
2.5 million views,
something like that. Chris LeRusso and Britt Baker. It is the most viewed video on our YouTube page actually for indie wrestling.
It does not surprise me. And if you can hold on to this clip for just 1 second, this was one of the better spots of my illustrious career.
There it is.
She couldn't have put that any more. She couldn't have put that any more perfect.
Hey, I'm shooting this one.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that, you know, again, look, I can't complain about my in-ring career. I got to be in the ring with heroes of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tatanka was one of my favorite wrestlers. I got to wrestle him.
Yes.
You know, I got to wrestle Shane Douglas.
I think we interviewed you that weekend because it was such a big, or on the show or something.
I got to wrestle Shane Douglas. I got to be in the ring with Matt Riddle. I got to be in the ring with Davey Richards. I got to be in the ring with all of these.
But Riddle right before he got signed.
Right before he got signed. I think it was maybe that was his last like group of indies that he did right before he went up. So I have nothing to complain about my in-ring career. And now that I'm moving on to this new challenge, I want to try and, you know, I want to try and show my vision, what I think works, what I think can draw a crowd. I look at the locker room at Ryse, and I'm just so much untapped potential there. So many people who I wish more eyes could get on them, and that's kind of my job. I want to try and get as many eyes on these people as humanly possible. And, you know, the fans down in Uniontown were great for the first show. I think, you know, we're off to a decent start, and let's try and you know, Tad Jarvis. That's one of the guys. You know, Tad Jarvis, the Great Success, guys like that who, you know, I think are, you know, right up there, ready to
and
get
some
attention.
And some young kid named Brandon K.
You know, Brandon actually, you know, getting in there and showing that he can still go. Now, listen, I am not officially done. You know, I don't think anyone ever retires in wrestling.
No.
Sting's jumping off of balconies
62.
at 62.
He's jumping off balconies.
Yep. But I think I would say I'm done for now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done for now, and if I do come back, I'm probably going to take some time to let some things heal and to get into better shape before I come back. But yeah, I'm really excited about Ryse. I'm so excited about the Iceman Cometh this coming weekend at the Uniontown Mall. I think that main event has the potential to, not only, you can't really steal the show when you're the main event, but that could really be one of the better matches that Pittsburgh has seen in quite some time. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited to see. I've made some offers for some new talent that Pittsburgh hasn't seen yet, not just the young talent out of the Stronghold Wrestling School and the Iron City Wrestling Academy, but I've reached out to Primal Fear, and
first I've heard of them when that promo ran last show.
I met them several years ago at the Monster Factory, and I have only seen them grow since then. Featured on AEW, featured on Ring of Honor, and they've evolved over the last couple of years. And I think that they look in incredible shape. I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I've reached out to some talent in Ohio, reached out to some talent in New Jersey. We're going to see, and I do want to bring something different to the table. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is the perfect place to segue for this, but we were discussing, the Pittsburgh wrestling scene. And I think, honestly, this is, one of the best and strongest that Pittsburgh, and, I don't just shout out IWC and Ryse. I'll give credit all the way down the line. RWA, 2PW, 3RW, Enjoy, and we were talking about sort of the companies that maybe aren't in the immediate Pittsburgh area, but you would consider in Pittsburgh's orbit. Imagine, Revenge,
VCW Group, which was solid first show. Mm-hmm. I recommend it if you get a chance. Remind me, I'll send you a link later.
Okay.
But again, and also those are really cool because I love. You mentioned about Ryse bringing some different names. Ryse has always been one that brought in some names from other regions that others weren't, right? I feel like I saw a lot of Cleveland guys, just like how RWA, I feel a lot of the Southern wrestlers there, right? Revenge is a perfect thing where Cleveland, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh all come together, right? Yeah. So, that's always been really cool to me. But that is so strong, and to me, I'm excited to see the Enjoys and the Wrestle Pits pop up doing things in the city. But man, all together,
Pit Fight is also they're
Pit
back.
Fight, yep, Pit Fight's back.
So you've got that going, and you mentioned wrestling in the city. That is something that one of the things I've kind of observed. And I know Ryse has Baldwin, and we're probably going to see if we can get back to Baldwin here pretty soon.
Good. It was a good location. It felt like a Pittsburgh, spot.
Oh, very much so.
It's hanging from the side of the hill, so it's very Pittsburgh.
Oh, of course. But one of the things I sort of noticed, because I've been reaching out to fans and sort of seeing what they're doing and what's happening, and I sense some of the promoters' frustrations about drawing a crowd and the troubles with running in Pittsburgh, and there are absolutely.
Oh yeah,
parking's a massive problem around here. Venue price, the entertainment tax, all kinds of issues that can come with load in, load out. The time window that can be in that. So I understand their frustrations, but one of the other things is that when I've talked to some fans in Pittsburgh, for some of these fans, if you don't run on a bus line or on somewhere that an Uber is a reasonable thing, they just can't get out to Elizabeth. They can't get out to Uniontown. They can't get out to Wheeling or to
you're cutting a mass audience when you're thinking that.
And if you look at there are some fans who, again, they can take they can take a bus or an Uber to Mr. Small's. They can, they can walk to the Spirit Lounge.
That was a big eye opener. Going to KSWA, I was talking with somebody that I know that works with them, and they're like, look around, like at least 50% of the people in this room walked here. Because we're in Lawrenceville. Yeah. When WrestlePit ran in East Liberty, which I don't think that anybody's worked East Liberty. Like, I cannot think that
they were at the Ace
has.
Hotel, right?
The former Ace Hotel, now the Maverick.
Okay.
And seeing all the comments of, I'm so happy I got to walk to a wrestling show, right?
Yeah.
And being a show with alcohol, that's advantageous, or on, able to Uber or bus or whatever the case may be, right?
That's true. But I'm also gonna flip the coin a little bit. For Ryse, now in addition to drawing from Pittsburgh wrestling, we also have to draw from Uniontown.
Yeah.
And we have to take a focus on the local audience and know that as maybe we're killing it in Uniontown. We might, we might draw more than we've ever drawn in Uniontown.
You got a lot of room there.
When we go to Baldwin, we're going to have to those people aren't going to en masse come with us to Baldwin. So we're going to have to draw a different audience from Baldwin. And we have to I think that if we can cultivate an audience in Baldwin, an audience in Uniontown, maybe we've talked about other venues and other things. Then if you have a big show, then if you have something where you bring in some name and you bring in and you culminate some angles and you culminate 6 months worth of work, that's when you can draw. They're not going to come from Pittsburgh every month, but maybe you can get them to come from Pittsburgh once every 6 months. Maybe you can get them to come, and maybe Uniontown. Maybe you're not going to get them up to Pittsburgh every month, but maybe you can get them up every once in a while. And and I saw evidence of this at IWC with Super Indie. Because some of the absolute biggest crowds that I worked in front of were, Super Indie and Night of the Superstars.
Yep. I think there was like over 1,000 people on the regular up there in Meadville.
I mean, on Meadville, the night that they had the Hardys, I think it was all closer to 3.
Yeah. Because I know Erie, because at the time I don't think there was anybody substantial running Erie. So we would get a lot of crowd from up there. Of course, the Pittsburgh crowd would come up, and then everybody in between, because there's a lot of midget wrestling happening back home right now. Because I'm from that area. So,
okay.
But
the thing is that I think that with companies that are running monthly, you're going to have to cultivate those smaller local audiences to build. And again, now I'm kind of going into philosophy, and people do have their different philosophies, and I certainly can see how successful some of these companies have been at drawing their own audience.
Tina's out in the Seattle area, and she says that's how it is out there. Mainly shows are near mass transit. Like that is a big stipulation for shows to run, it seems, in that area. And I mean, we're talking about Defy. We're talking about, what's it?
3-2-1 Battle, I think.
3-2-1, yeah, that's the other one. And you see the crowds there drawn. Looks like.
Do you know the story behind the name of that company?
3-2-1?
3-2-1 Battle. Do you know how
I don't think I do.
Okay. Bob Evans told me this story.
Max, the Wrestling with Subtitles, is he the one behind that?
I do not know. Bob Evans is the one who told me the story, so take it with a pinch of salt. But their first show, they didn't have a ring bell. They were, and somebody's like, and you got the bell? What? I thought you had the bell. Fuck, I thought you had the bell. What? So to start the match, they had the ring announcer go 3, 2, 1, battle, and it just stuck. Now again, that's a Bob Evans story, so 3, 2, 1, battle. If I got that wrong, I sincerely apologize, but that's what I heard, and it sounds like a really good story.
Without a Cause is another one. 3-2-1 battle no longer running. Yeah, that's the thing. But if you're out of town and you're already going to wrestling shows, you probably got a car to come in town, right? So, but it works out. And also, are you running a show in town that people will hey, people deal with the parking and go to the arena for a WWE show or an AEW show at the Pete?
Yeah, of course. Quality has a huge thing to do with it.
Yeah.
But one of the other things, and I hear fans argue about this a lot, is why don't people run up days other than Saturday night? And
this is me every week as I'm looking at my schedule.
Right. And you know, I've heard argument. Why don't they run? You know, you could run Thursday night, you could run Friday night and draw a crowd like this. You
And
can
some
run
are.
You could run Sunday.
And by the way, there are promotions. I'm talking with some promotions, like Pit Fight's running a Friday. Somebody else just pitched me something in the fall for a Thursday. You know, like there's it's people are. Wasn't WrestleRex on Tuesday sometimes? You know,
WrestleRex was on a Thursday, I think.
I think it was mostly Thursdays, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that.
But one of the things is that, you know, as I'm starting to see the other side of things, venues, you know, if you think about the venues that wrestling companies run, rec halls, boys and girls clubs, you know, sort of that, you know, the building in Baldwin, they have relationships with, you know, the Core Time Sports Center. They have relationships with sports teams. They have with kids basketball. With you know, I know that one of the buildings that one of the indies runs locally is a church on Sundays. Sometimes Saturday nights is all that's available.
The option, yeah.
And it's the only option. And for some of these venues, it's their best option.
And it's hard to cultivate that relationship with a new venue.
Yeah. I mean, because you have to take some time to build that trust. You have to build that trust, and it doesn't happen overnight. So sometimes you have to, you know, and I hear the fans' frustrations. Why, you know, oh, they're running the same night. They're running the same night. I can almost guarantee you no one's doing it maliciously. I can almost guarantee you that no one's doing it maliciously, because it would be stupid to do it maliciously. It would be cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yep. I think certain groups don't pay attention to other dates other than if they have a partnership, like RWA 2PW have a partnership because they share, you know, talent and equipment or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You know, hey, we're using X's ring, you know. Like, other than that, like, I don't see, like, somebody like RWA, I don't see them have any reason to look at anybody else's schedule, because they have run against everything from Impact Wrestling to probably NEW, like big shows with big names, and they're still drawing that 250 to 300.
And I mean,
you know, they have
the
no bearing on stuff like that.
Yeah, and I know that there are the fans who get frustrated by it, but you know, most of the time, everyone's just trying to make they're just trying to make a living. They're just trying to get, you know, their show going. And you know, I was saying that this is some of the best time in Pittsburgh wrestling. I think it's some of the best time in Pittsburgh wrestling for a couple of reasons. One, we're getting more people signed than ever before. Okay? Past 3 to 5 years, I think we have put more people on national television, and I say we in the royal we. I don't know one company. It's spread across a lot of companies that their people are having success in going up. So that's incredibly positive. You know, Ryse, IWC, WrestlePit, all these companies can be very proud of, you know, of what they're contributing to the national scene. Number two, the amount of petty bullshit in the cosmic scene, in the cosmic, you know, I know some people might be like, there's still some petty bullshit. Not the way there was.
It used to be worse. For how bad it is, it used to be worse.
And I mean,
I've heard the horror stories.
Yeah.
And I think you lived through the horror stories.
Yeah,
so.
and so I think that the idea of people, what do people want to do? You know, nobody's running to put anyone else out of business. You know what people are running to do? To entertain the fans, to give these young guys a chance to make a splash on the national scene. And if that is the goal, all the companies in Pittsburgh can be proud of that. Because I think they're doing it better than they have in years. So
absolutely,
you know, and I speak, you know, obviously I speak very positively for Ryse for obvious reasons, but I would be and you know, obviously look at Lee Moriarty, Nikita Knight, you know, Lady Frost, you know, as a Brandon K product, you know, and you can look at IWC with, you know, Wardlow, Britt, Cole Carter, you know,
Shima.
Yeah,
Walking Wild.
Yeah,
Elias.
That's a little further back, but
yes,
but
of
yeah,
course.
you know, but I am incredibly proud of what everybody is doing, and you know, it's only going to get better from here. I mean, just look at the talent that's out there.
Absolutely, it's a main stage, and it's all about making sure that stage is getting in front of people. I mean, that's how I look at things, right?
I completely agree.
Between the streaming happening, between the networks happening, you know, but us or everything, you know, even what Enjoy's doing, you know, I think is fantastic and something different. And and everybody is serving a different audience. There's plenty of people RWA that would never go to a Ryse. There's plenty of people going to Enjoy that would never go to, an IWC. It doesn't, like, there's wrestling for literally wrestling for everybody.
Is for everybody.
Yes, I love it. Chris, it's always great having you on the show, and we're gonna and I love you're gonna exercise some booking hat here a little bit in Mayhem Mania.
All right, sounds good.
So we'll get that lined up. Let me double check the time. I think everybody is available. Where's my clock on this thing? There we go. Oh, we're running late.
Oh, sorry about that.
No. Great conversation. So, but in the meantime, I'm gonna give a shout out to our friends at Slice on Broadway. Chris, you're gonna have to grab a slice there at the kitchen
awesome.
Here on break here. But our good friends, New York City style yins are made. Beachview, Carnegie, East End, North Hills, and of course, if you're not in the Pittsburgh area, we encourage you, just like we say, to go out, seek out the good quality independent professional wrestling in your area. Please do the same thing with your local independent pizza chain, like our friends at Slice on Broadway, especially our friends Slice if you're here in the Pittsburgh area. Thank you to them for supporting this show and supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. We will be right back after this. We get everybody lined up for Mayhem Mania.
What's up? It's the Gigabyte Grizzly Brohemian, and this is a messed up time we live in, so I need you all to do me a favor. Wear your mask. Like this, not like this, or like this, or like this, like this. Wear your mask. It's for your safety and mine. Because if I see you without one, I'm going to pump kick a mask onto your face. Got it?
For a foot or an inch, yeah, fight for you all is the truth, and I'm in, yeah, fight for referee preference.
The world of pro wrestling, it's bigger than ever. So how can you possibly keep up with everything that's happening? Just pro wrestling news. Don't fear falling behind. Give us just 5 minutes every morning, and we'll catch you up on the biggest news in the world of pro wrestling. No filler, no rumors, no spoilers, no pop-ups. Just pro wrestling news. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app or tell your smart speaker to play the Just Pro Wrestling News podcast. Find out more. Go to justprowrestlingnews.com.
Spectrum TV network on Roku.
Grind City, and you know this, man.
You know what I'm saying? Just like right place, right time, out of nowhere.
So what you saying?
Former tag team partner coming to save.
Tony Johnson, we saw him battle Edric earlier, but this is a 2-on-1 mugging.
It is Mayhem Mania. Something's happening here. Something's happening. Hold on, I gotta hit the button. Now it's Mayhem Mania if you're on video. And we are here. Chad the Shad is here. We're seeing if we can get a couple other participants in. We went a little short on that. But in the meantime, Chad, how are you doing? You had a week hiatus there.
I did. Hey, work gets a little crazy sometimes around February, March for me. That's just how it is. I do need to sleep and such. I have to work a little late. Get up early.
What?
Yeah,
Pussy.
and sometimes there's a week where I'm just like, yeah, this is one of those days. I had myself a week.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in good hands. I've reviewed the show. I'm going to look at all of the suggestions and everything that was made by Matt, and all the things that were said, the critiques about how I'm running the show.
There were some comments.
I'm going to take all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
and throw it out the window and ignore all of it. It's my show.
Mm-hmm.
You sound like a booker already.
Yeah. See, I was gonna say is this what you're like backstage now?
You know,
Chris?
we're only 1 month in. Who knows what I'm gonna be like in 6 months?
Mm-hmm. Chad's been at this since January, so on a weekly basis.
Yeah,
So
pretty soon you're gonna get some footage of me.
Matt,
Oh.
So mainstream Matt, Mr. Norm Connors, can take a hike now. This is my show. No, Matt did a very good job. He was of course, because he's run the show for how long?
Okay, we do. I do have submitted moves from some people. So, by the way, we do have a fourth person. So.
Oh God.
So who do we have?
Everybody here. And actually, we'll have another person hop in too.
Oh boy.
So obviously everybody here, we got Chris, we got myself, we got Mad Mike, and we do have a move from Tina, and I believe Ponder's going to hop in momentarily.
He is there. He was here. Acknowledge.
Oh, he's already here.
You may acknowledge me at any time.
Ponder, do you have a preferred title? Like, I mean, you don't have to think of it now. Just
Yeah.
if you have a preferred one,
Understood.
we would obviously want to use your proper title that you chose yourself.
Jeez.
All right, you ready to kick this thing off?
Yes, and I apologize. The graphics were not loading correctly for me to put them in the system, so I do not have the brand new ones. So
That's
apologies.
okay. I'll say
visual apologies.
You just imagine them vividly with motion graphics in your head. This is Mayhem Mania. It's not just the ultimate fantasy booking challenge, it's also a competitive thought experiment. The object of Mayhem Mania is to craft the best WrestleMania card possible within the boundaries of our current reality. That means anyone WWE can book in a match is available to our players. But this year there is a twist. Mayhem Mania 2022 is a 2-night event. Night 1 will be the night for our traditional Mayhem Mania card featuring WWE related matches. But on night 2, we open the forbidden door and make it possible for our players to create matches with anyone outside of the WWE. Every week, we invite players to make a change to one of the matches on our cards. They can kill a match entirely and create a new one with other individuals. They can swap out an individual or team in a match for another individual or team. They can swap out an individual or team in a match with an individual or team in another match already on the card, so a straight swap. Or they can add an individual or team to an existing match. But not everyone is currently eligible to be used in Mayhem Mania. Some are being held in a place we lovingly refer to as Space Jail. And the current inmates of Space Jail include Avery Good, Commander Sterling, Gunther, Johnny Knoxville, Keith Lee, Ray Phoenix, Sonny Kiss, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Ultra Mantis Black, Will Ospreay, and Ziggy Heim.
What did she do?
Somebody had a problem with Ziggy that week.
No, to be
Who did
fair,
take it?
When these picks were made, we were not aware that these people were going into Space Jail.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Correct.
He would just like pick random people and was like, they're all in jail.
Yeah, very first week was like, give me 2 names. Give me 2 names. Give me, before anything starts, like, hey, everyone, you know those wonderful 2 names you gave me?
All in Space Jail.
Yes,
So I can't break anyone out of Space Jail. They're unavailable.
Well, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take 2 spins of the Space Jail wheel, 1 for Sorg, 1 for Mad Mike. Spin it and see. I have them numbered right here. There are a couple blanks. If you hit a blank, I'll allow you to respin because I missed a week, and I'm going to be fair to you at this very moment, but probably not within the next few. So,
okay,
Sorg, spin the wheel.
My favorite part
Sorg,
of
this
my
is
week.
your spin. Good luck.
May the odds be in your favor.
4. Who is 4?
4 is empty. Go ahead and spin.
What?
It
What? It's an empty
Spinners are
cell?
good.
We have a vacancy in Space Jail?
Spin
That used to be Miros.
spin the
That was
goddamn
Miros.
wheel again.
That one's for a spoiler from the Batman.
Yeah. No spoilers. If you get 3 strikes, you're out.
Trip to the
You got
Haiti.
the star.
Oh man, that one's
Hold
empty.
on,
It's empty too?
Chad, how about if you spin and it lands on the star, you get to pick?
No, veto.
All right.
Okay,
Right?
worth the shot.
Ready?
Strike 3, and I'm gonna put somebody else in Space Jail.
Oh shit.
22.
That's blanks.
Are you kidding me?
Now that's your fault. Don't
Are you
don't
kidding me?
punish him. That's your fault.
No, I mean,
How
there's
many
not,
are in
there's-
there?
There is like 15.
There's 12 people in Space
So
Jail.
12, yeah, 12. Oh yeah, some got out last week. Like Shane Taylor.
I'm actually wearing a Shane Taylor shirt.
Yes.
So
Exactly, Shane Taylor Promotions. Good. I'm sorry, Sorg. You have failed on all of your spins. Something you love to do, you did not do very well tonight.
At least I got to spin 3 times.
Well, for yourself, but now spin
you get to spin for me.
for Mike.
All
Spin the
right.
wheel, make the
So
deal.
we have better luck. I gave you ample spins to get somebody out,
Mhm.
and you want them in there. So go ahead and spin that wheel.
All right, Mike.
Good Sorg.
For Mike.
There we go. Oh, I like that spin. That's a good spin.
17.
That's empty.
What?
You're hitting all the like.
Wow.
Why don't
Spin it again.
I am suspicious of this situation.
Nah, it's right here.
it's like a D&D DM who's just sort of like,
Yeah.
Or
that
an
doesn't
battleship.
hit.
Sword, go again. I feel lucky.
It feels like Battleship.
I'm about
oh,
to
wait a minute. That moved.
I'm about,
Oops.
I'm about to switch the dice.
C5.
In it. Look, there's the list.
Natural 20.
List.
6.
6 is empty.
What?
Jesus, Sorg. Sorg.
Spin it again. Sorg.
I want to spin it this way.
Not very
Oh, see, that
good.
wasn't as good a spin. That didn't sound good.
Hey,
Oh, no.
It couldn't have been any worse than the previous 5.
24.
24.
You're bad.
What?
Sorg.
Are you kidding me?
Empty.
Sorg.
Empty. All of them.
Sorg.
6 spins. Nobody. You hit.
There are 12 free spaces. Sorg hit half of them.
You had a 50-50 chance of getting one person on every spin.
This is why I don't go to Vegas.
Hit 6.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's rough.
Okay.
Well, we tried.
Hold on. I'm just going to do a test one.
Of course, this time it's going to be like Ziggy Heim that gets out.
That's one again.
Oh, no. It's on the star again.
Bad luck tonight, Sorg.
I didn't know this is from IKEA.
Sorg, did you?
I'm surprised it has numbers on it since it's from IKEA.
Blame the Dutch.
Oh, it's the wrong language.
Either way, you still 50-50 it the wrong way.
Ah, boy.
6 times.
Yeah, but you're not thinking about the Norwegian exchange rate.
I didn't have a. I didn't give you instructions that were all just pictures and not words. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. I got out my inspiration. So.
Well, we have a super card that has been filled out with graduated matches.
Yes. By the way, I did put a line out to Bradley, who does not like Mayhem Mania, and I was like, "Do you want to hop in since you're a manager?" And he says, "I'm busy playing Burger Time." This is my fault, by the way. I introduced him to this app that plays Burger Time and classic games on them. Burger Time is one of my favorite games, by the way. Anyways.
We have a super card.
We have a super card.
That's the graduated matches nobody can touch right now.
Mm-hmm.
On the WWE side, we have David Arquette versus Samoa Joe, made by Mad Mike. And we have Cesaro versus new NXT champion Dolph Ziggler. That was made by Papa Judo.
Don't make me have to watch NXT. Man. Okay.
We have 2 matches on the Forbidden Door evening as well. Joker Sting versus The Fiend versus Danhausen, made by Mr. Starks.
I can't wait to see this at All Out.
And Darby Allin versus, was it Jay White versus Lee Maury.
I can't wait to see this at Double or Nothing.
The Podfather himself, Sorgatron.
I made that?
Yep.
Yep.
That's why you got the spin sword.
You're the last one to touch it.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. Our normal card, I heard complaints that we weren't graduating enough matches. So I'm going to fix it.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
These matches have been on the card for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and graduate them.
Yes.
They have proven they've been there for a while. So we're going to go ahead and graduate that Beth Phoenix, Ripley, Gonzalez, Belair match.
Oh, good thing Dave Podner's here.
Dave Podner, congratulations. We're also going to graduate Elias and Graves.
Hey, Sorg, you get your friend to the show, man.
Yay!
And I don't know if maybe you guys can help me a little bit here. The Forbidden Door card, I don't know if anyone's really hung around for a extremely long amount of time.
Not these ones, no.
No, I don't think so.
I think the one that hasn't been touched, that's been around, is probably Nick Gage versus Wardlow.
I believe so.
The longest one. But not long enough for me to graduate, I don't believe.
Okay.
No.
All right.
So the other ones, they've been around for like 4 weeks.
I have no graphics left after this.
But I'll run down the card, then we can play. I know this is getting kind of long.
Mm-hmm.
On the WWE night, these are the ones that you can customize here. We have Commander Aziz versus Omos versus Veer, made by Dave Podner. We have Carmelo Hayes versus Ricochet, made by Tina. We have the Bloodline, both Usos and that guy Roman, and a fourth member, Solo Sikoa, versus Brock, Alpha Academy, and Shelton Benjamin, made by Mainstream Matt. And we have Rousey versus Satomura, made by Mad Mike. There are 2 spots open now on that side.
So you can make some straight new matches.
So you can create a straight match. 2 of them.
Okay.
The Forbidden Door evening has 6 matches. The Inspiration versus Mia Yim and Athena, made by Mad Mike. Shane Taylor versus Lance Archer, made by Sorg. This is the hard one. I've been practicing. Marufuji Ichimori versus Suzuki and Tajiri. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Made by Ronnie Nicole.
Naomichi Marufuji and Taiji Ishimori.
Exactly. Josh Alexander versus Daniel Bryanson or Brian Danielson or however your combination.
I like Daniel Bryanson. Daniel Bryanson's great.
Daniel Bryan,
Tina, made by Tina.
Daniel Bryan Danielson has been my deal.
Yeah, Daniel Danielson, Brian Ryelson. Nick Gage versus Wardlow, made by Mad Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And last week, Zeke made Jonathan Gresham versus, I believe it was Daniel Garcia, right?
Daniel Garcia.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good one.
Are there any open spots for the Forbidden Door night?
As of right now, no.
Okay. Can we put Tina first since she has a submitted one?
Yes, we can.
Okay. And what do you want to do order-wise beyond that?
Let's go Tina. Let's go Mr. LaRusso.
Okay.
Let's go Sorg, number 3. Podner 4. No, Podner 5. Mike, you go 4.
Okay.
You've been last a couple times already.
I have, but that's mostly due to the Alex Cars rule.
Yeah, that's why. We'll let Podner. He had a match that graduated tonight, so we'll have him go last.
And Chris, I'm about to send you the match list since we don't have the graphics for everything.
That's
so
fair
you can
enough.
keep up on
Yeah,
that.
it is a little long, little wordy, so if you do have any questions, please just go ahead and voice them, and we'll guide you in the right way.
And you're all lucky because I lost the counter.
He also lost his ability to spin a wheel, but
hey,
no, he spun it. He just can't land it.
Oh, that's tough. That's rough.
I have a gambling problem. I suck at it. Anyways, so Tina's move is to apologies, and I'm sad at this. I do not agree with this, but broken hearts. We are going to remove Gresham versus Garcia.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And this is
Going
going to
after
we're going to
Zeke.
put in Sammy Guevara versus ELP.
Okay.
El
Phantasmo.
El Phantasmo. I couldn't remember if there was an extra word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's El Hideo
del Fantasma.
I mean, it was an interesting Canadian name there. Kicking Redwoods. Kicking Redwoods. I do want ELP to make some prime time.
I may have mixed them up with Legado del Fantasma.
Did you just like combine them? I think I do.
apologize.
Yeah, Legado del Fantasma. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I think I do that sometimes too. I think.
There's a lot. They just float. At Spanish, all the words flow very well together, so it's real easy to mix.
It's almost
them up.
like they belong together.
Yeah. So Sammy Guevara versus ELP, made by Tina. Thank you, Tina. Our esteemed guest, Mr. LaRusso, you are up.
What does the rule say about altering a match that was just made?
You can do that. If you were to do that, Tina would get last pick on the next show.
Because I'm going to alter Tina's match.
It's called the Alex Cars rule.
Okay, I'm going to alter Tina's match because this is a match that I think would do very, very well. Okay, a mixed tag team match. Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti versus Adam Cole and Britt Baker.
So removing ELP.
Yes.
And adding Cole.
Hold on, I want to see if I have the graphic of.
I
want to show Chris what we did.
We always end up with relationship matches.
Yes, we do. Because we had a period.
We are great relationship counselors.
But here's the one thing I will say. You can't tell me that match wouldn't rock.
That would be good.
No,
That
absolutely would.
That'd be really good.
We didn't have Guevara and Ty Conti in any of the previous versions.
No, we have
No, we did not.
Cole and Baker have been in Lots of versions.
I think we've had like 5 matches with Cole and Baker, actually.
We had Cole and Baker. We had Punk and Lee. We had, I believe,
Pretty Proper.
Daniel
Pretty
Bryanson. I have a bunch. Yeah, we had a bunch.
There was we had 4 couples in a match at one point. It got pretty ridiculous.
I like it. I like it, Chris. Thank you. Who else did we have? Yeah.
God, why don't I have a graphic for this?
Yeah, that was almost it was a what? It got up to 4 teams at one point.
Yeah, it was like a 4-way mixed tag for a bit there. Yeah, it got pretty nice.
I like it. Sam Guevara and Ty Conti versus Adam Cole and his baby, Britt Baker.
Dr. Britt Baker.
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
I mean, we did get pretty crazy, especially when we let Beastman book some stuff. There's I can't even describe this. I don't know even know who the guy
There's a
left
zombie
is.
Rick Rude in there.
Zombie Rick Rude, Lord Zoltan.
We bent the rules a little bit
Dink,
to allow that zombie Rick Rude.
Ricky Borton, the Soul Taker. Yeah. It was pretty wonky.
Well, at least everyone survived.
Well, except for Rick Rude.
I meant us.
Okay.
The booking wasn't so bad that none of us died. Okay.
Well, because it didn't make the show.
Oh boy.
Alrighty, Sorg.
Oh, it's my turn. All right, let me look at this
Now,
list.
2 people have to add matches to WWE, right?
I'd hate to handicap people like that. I would hope they would be able to do that themselves. But we're on turn 3. Maybe lean that way if you can.
I'm going to have one. So
Okay, here we go. I have some matches inspired by my playing of 2K22 the last 24 hours.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Get
Although
ready for some
a
true
lot of
Gulak
them,
action.
a lot of my matches were with people that are no longer with the company, so I have to temper myself a little
That's
bit.
like half that roster.
Yeah, I did. It's fascinating to go through that roster. Why is Tucker still on there? I like Tucker, but it's how did you
Because
make
you need someone at the low end of the range.
Buddy Murphy's on there. Yeah.
Is Buddy Murphy in there? I didn't notice.
He is. Yes,
Oh,
he is. He
jeez.
comes out with Seth Rollins.
No way.
Their duo is an entrance in the game. Yeah, it's
At least he doesn't come out with Aaliyah.
yeah.
Anyways, so I'm going to go because I did have a match. I'm not going to make this particular match, or maybe I should. I did at one point make Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Nakamura in a backstage brawl, which was fantastic. He threw me off of a scaffolding, and it was nuts. So you know what? Fuck it. Stone Cold's supposed to do something here, right?
He did release the video today.
Stone Cold definitely in play. You know what? Screw it. Stone Cold versus Knock. Let's make it happen.
Make it happen.
Oh boy.
Stone Cold versus Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
The king of drinking style versus the king of strong style.
I like it.
All right.
Oh,
made
boy.
by Sorg. All right. That means there's one vacancy on the WWE night.
Mm-hmm.
2 people left. Mad Mike, you are now up. Podner, you are in the warm-up circle.
Okay, so I've spent the majority of this season of Mayhem Mania trying to make good matches. No, legitimately.
And now he's going the other way.
I haven't tried to do anything crazy, anything I thought was out of bounds, or hell, some of them were even booked.
And I've spent the entirety of Mayhem Mania just trying to spin this damn wheel.
Yes. I'm going to make the weirdest match I can think of.
Now we're talking.
It's going to be a family versus family 6-man tag. Well, 6-person tag, excuse me.
Oh no.
And given that, there were talks this week that this person may have a match at WrestleMania in a fashion, we are going to have Mr. McMahon, Shane McMahon, and Stephanie McMahon versus Chavo Guerrero, Shaul Guerrero, and Dominic Guerrero. Yes, Dominic Guerrero teaming with his sister, Shaul. the way it's supposed to be.
I like this timeline.
All right. I still think, I don't know, maybe not this year, but I still think Ray retires by losing his mask in a match to Dominic.
Yes.
Dominic Guerrero.
And Dominic cheats.
Dominic turns heel. If he took the Guerrero last name, that would be pretty interesting. And I think he has a match with Ray for his mask, takes the mask. Whether he wears it from then on is something, but I think that Ray's going to retire.
I've said as soon as he turns heel and takes the Guerrero name, Dominic's first shirt is "He's My Poppy."
Mm-hmm.
That's his first shirt, and it would sell like gangbusters.
Yeah. I agree with that. But yeah, definitely Ray retires by giving his mask to his son. It just makes sense to me.
And then Dominic stomps on it and says, "I lied!"
Yep. Little shimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right, and we are ready for our last participant of the evening, the esteemed Dave Podner.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the Forbidden Door side.
All right, 6 matches to choose from on that night.
Right. And I'm going to remove Nick Gage and Wardlow.
How dare you? I was singing your praises, telling everyone to acknowledge you.
Wait, you have tons of matches. Tons of matches. And matches that have been, put on the super card.
And you know what? I love them all.
I realize that.
I get offended.
But I am replacing violence with violence.
I guess.
Okay.
Interest
because as the saying goes, book more tag teams, you cowards.
I just did.
Book more female tag teams, you cowards.
Okay.
So, I have Willow Nightingale and Edith Surreal versus coming in from the wasteland, Max the Impaler and Heidi Howitzer.
Oh, jeez.
I'll take it.
That's gonna have fun with graphics this week.
All right, Willow and Edith versus Max and Heidi.
I think you can mostly just steal and enjoy graphic for that. So, I mean, I think Heidi's the only one that hasn't been there.
Yeah,
so,
Heidi hasn't been there yet. Yes.
That was made by Podner.
Oh, boy.
All right. So, added tonight, we have Stone Cold versus Nakamura by Sorg. That was in one of the vacant spots. And we have Vince, Shane, and Steph versus Chavo, Dom, and Shaw. Made by Mad Mike.
Yes.
Those are the 2 new matches for our WB side. And then we have 2 new matches for the Forbidden Door side. And that was the just mentioned Willow, Edith versus Max and Heidi. Made by Dave Podner. And this one, which was altered, Tina made the first move. LeRusso improved it in his eyes. Sammy Guevara versus and Ty Conti versus Adam Cole and Britt Baker. DMD. And I think that'll take care of it.
All righty.
That'll do it.
With that, it is time to find.
1 second.
Uh-oh.
WrestleMania is April 2nd and April 3rd. That means Patreon in the Bank is March 29th.
Yes.
3 weeks away? 2 weeks away? I don't know.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
3 weeks away.
So with that wraps it up, and then we have our final vote leading into WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
That's the week. That's the week.
Chad, I just want to point out I'm on a level higher than everyone else. I just want to point that out.
37?
37.
That will definitely go into consideration.
In a row?
Okay.
Yes. And I don't believe I have any other. Sorg, you know what? Go ahead and spin the wheel one more time. I'm feeling it.
What?
Spin it.
What? Again?
One more time.
I'm gonna laugh if he gets a different vacant spot.
If you hit now, this is the list. Look.
All right. Yes.
That's
Chad,
the list.
Chad,
Okay,
there are empty spots in this list.
Warm it up, Sorg. Warm it up.
Sorg
Warm it up.
hits a vacant spot that he has previously hit,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's even harder to do. I think he should get the pick.
If he hits the star, he can pick.
Okay. Okay, there you go, Sorg. Got something to shoot for.
Here we go.
He's gearing up. Oh boy. Here we go.
That's a good spin.
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. 21. No. No.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. It's an empty spot.
Empty.
That's insane.
Empty.
And it wasn't even an empty spot you hit before.
No. Now on our you're all over the place tonight, Sorg.
Sorg, just try one more time just for funsies.
You didn't sink any battleships. No hits.
7?
7 had Commander Sterling in it, but sorry. 13 doesn't have anybody in it.
7 again.
19's blank. You're still wrong. You're done, Sora. This week was not a good week for you spinning that wheel.
Wow.
What did you learn? What did you learn?
What did I learn?
I learned Sorg can't spin a wheel worth a damn this week.
Don't go to the roulette table, Sora. Do not do it.
Don't do it.
Chris, let's go to the Rovers. Let's go. I got all my bad luck out of me. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll see Virgil.
Oh, okay. Sure. What did I learn? I'll play it kind of straight. That what did I learn in wrestling this week? That anything worth having is worth working hard for. I'll just leave it at that.
Amen.
Some life advice from Chris LeRusso. I learned that WWE 2K game's pretty good, guys.
That's what I hear.
I can't, guys. I haven't.
Is it one of those things where like they failed so hard that they
It feels good. I picked it up and I knew what to do. Like it wasn't like you're doing all this goofy shit to make moves happen.
Mm-hmm.
It was
very intuitive.
Yeah, it really is.
See, here's the thing.
2K20 was bad.
Yeah, that's what it is. 2K20 was terrible. And here's the thing. I'm lost in Elden Ring right now, so I'm not coming up anytime soon. But
Godspeed. You like pain.
And I'm lost in Horizon Forbidden West and Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I do not like 2K for their cross-play, give us $20 to have both versions kind of situation, or the pay $100 for early access situation. But I accept it for what it is. And
money grab.
I'm not saying you should drop $100, $120 for this thing. $120 if you want the NWO pack.
I know a friend of mine did do the NWO pack.
Oh boy. They are already having server trouble, and we only have the people with the deluxe packs and up. It drops on Friday for everybody else.
Good on them for taking a year off, and from what it sounds like, the year off did them much good.
Yes.
The
game itself, other than networking issues is networking issues. So whatever. But because the last game I bought was WWE 12, which I believe was the last THQ one, perhaps. Maybe the next to last, because maybe they did the Punk one in 13. But it feels good. I'm glad I got it, and I'm a big more like WWE Battlegrounds fan, the over the top ones. But I have not enjoyed a standard WWE wrestling game like this since 2008 Raw vs. SmackDown, maybe, which was the one that had ECW on it.
Look, I mean, I'm all the way back to the N64.
Well, I mean, there's that obviously, but like that's the last time I looked forward to one of these games and it delivered for the most part, right? So it's just been like meh ever since. I played 2K19 or 20 maybe, like it was on Game Pass not too long ago. I was like, oh yeah, this is rough. It's just not fun. This is fun. It feels fun. You find yourself pulling off a move and like, whoa, like there's good moments in this thing, and I haven't got into the customization or anything really. I saw somebody made Jade Cargill that's all over Twitter, so I can't wait to be able to download people.
Yeah, I saw you can put in renders of people.
Yeah,
I have heard that they have started to take some steps to remove CM Punks.
If you cannot write the word CM Punk without getting a block on there, apparently. So, but other than that, okay, we were little things like that aside. But other than that, like you can't really make much about it because you got like half of an AEW roster on this thing. So, which is kind of fun. You can legit like reenact matches that happened on Revolution the other night. So it's really interesting.
When Wardlow won the Sonic the Hedgehog Memorial Trophy.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
By the way, I'm waiting for the Botchamania when he picks that thing up and you hear the Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, you got a Chaos Emerald.
I feel like
my favorite thing about that was Danhausen quote tweeted that picture of Wardlow holding the ring.
Yes.
And Danhausen was like, "Does this make him the Ring of Honor champion now?"
Also,
that just tickled me in a way.
I also enjoyed when he thanked Tony Khan for finally defeating his nemesis,
David Honor.
David Honor.
David Honor,
yes.
yeah.
So, yeah. Mad Mike, what'd you learn this week?
I learned that RJ City is a terrible driver.
Oh.
just an awful driver.
I think we said everybody that he drove lost this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you watch those series?
That'll fucking teach you.
I watched a couple of them. I want to watch the rest. I saw the Chris Statlander and the Ricky Starks one.
The Ricky Starks one. You know, all right, I'm gonna say this. I wasn't a Ricky Starks guy when he started. I am so much a Ricky Starks guy right now.
Oh my god.
I'm very much so. Like him being on commentary with Taz has helped so much.
Oh yeah.
It's helped so much. Jericho still does not need to be anywhere near Rampage.
Okay,
but Ricky, like, if you haven't seen the 6-minute thing of him in RJ City, you need to watch it because it is just wonderful.
I believe there's also Paul White and Danhausen are part of these, and of course, I mean, you know,
I didn't like them as much.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
He didn't realize it was RJ City in the hat afterwards. He's like, "What? That was my friend RJ City under the hat? Oh no!"
the Chris Statlander one was adorable though. It was a different kind of vibe.
I have one thing I want to say, and this is completely off topic, but this might be a bit closer. There is a reason why Braun Breaker dropped the NXT title tonight. I guarantee he did the match on Raw. Vince took one look at him like, "You're done. Come here."
I mean, there's also they have to get ready for Stand and Deliver too. So
I still say Vince finally got to me and was like, "Nope." He drops the title tomorrow. But we have like 6. He drops the title tomorrow. Damn it! It's gonna be such good shit.
The best part of that is apparently now they're doing what they should have been doing is when they bring someone up from NXT, they don't change them. Braun Breaker came up as Braun Breaker, did Braun Breaker stuff.
Now that they're
actually won, he won a match on Raw.
Well, now that everybody's being molded in Vince McMahon's image, it's not like,
to be fair, he was like 2/3 of the way there.
You're like, guys, like we're making NXT stars to be accepted by Vince, not because this is what we think wrestling should be.
So Braun Breaker and Omos.
Yeah.
So Braun Breaker and Omos are the last 2 guys in the Andre Battle Royal.
Absolutely. Anyways, who's next? Dave Podner, what'd you learn?
Well, I learned that no matter how violent Moxley and Daniel can get, there is one person who can control them. And Mr. Regal can control anybody.
Man,
Daddy's home.
Those slaps to both of them. I love the other slap. It's like, oh, you slapped Moxley. Yay, I'm happy. Oh, I shouldn't have laughed.
Those were 2 siblings. Like I saw some other people say. two siblings fighting in the living room, and Dad came home.
And according to Twitter, I did not realize how many women were into a British man who speaks with an air of authority. I did not realize that was a. I didn't realize Mr. Regal was such the object of so many women's affection.
In another life, he could be James Bond.
I mean, he's a
Let's
man,
not get it
a
twisted.
real
I mean,
man's man.
He could be James Bond right now.
By the way, another match I considered I realized I couldn't do for Mayhem Mania because I did play Xavier Woods versus William Regal in Hell in a Cell. By the way, it was on main event.
Did you do it? I was gonna say you should have done it at King of the Ring.
I don't know if there is a King of the Ring arena. Thunderdome looks pretty cool, actually.
So I wanted to ask about that. So there are actual people's faces.
Yeah, they're like in loops. They're like faces in loops. I don't know where they got them from, or maybe it's staff or something. It's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. I didn't even notice till I climbed the Hell in the Cell. I'm like, oh shit, I'm in the Thunderdome. So
can you brawl into the screens?
I haven't noticed yet, but I don't know. There's a lot of like getting into the over the barricade. I can't remember the last time you were able to do that. So, anyways, sorry. Chad, have you gone yet?
No.
Okay.
I learned a few things. Real quick, I did learn that some of those bylines about Florida can happen in real life, like 61-year-old Florida man falls from balcony at local pro wrestling show. He's not hurt, but paramedics on scene.
It's okay. Tables broke his fall.
Oh, he hit his head on that one.
Oh, did he?
That was a pretty good show. I did enjoy. Speaking of Raw, real quick, tag team wrestling is alive and well on Raw.
Good.
RK Bro and the Alpha Academy, and who else did they had that triple threat?
Seth KO.
Seth and KO. Solid. It's entertaining. It's been entertaining for weeks now. The Street Profits are entertaining. The New Day. Tag teams on the up in WWE. I don't know what changed or what allowed them to do this, but they seem to be finding a groove, which is nice to see.
Here's a question that I've been periodically asking. Is this the time that I should come back to WWE main programming?
Maybe in small chunks.
Okay.
If you're already soured on like some WWE programming, come back and look at some things in small chunks.
Should I stay with the YouTube clips?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I also learned.
Microdose yourself. It's like you have an allergy.
Yeah.
Microdose so that you can build up a tolerance.
I was going to say like taking LSD.
Because if you jump back in,
I'm tripping on some WWE, man.
You jump back in, you're gonna get angry. Sorg. You
Don't
watch
say
3 hours of Raw, you're gonna be like, "Oh, this is 3 hours."
I mean, 3 hours of Raw is always going to be.
But
2 hours of Raw,
Hulu cut, right? So
if you watch 20 minutes of tag team wrestling and then you watch another promo, you're good. You're good for the week.
Oh, Charlotte's coming out. I'm gonna skip, man. Yeah.
And I also learned that I really like AEW's trios wrestling. They're probably going to have a trios championship at some point.
They have been heavy with the multi-man matches on Dark for sure.
They have way too many people out during matches to begin with, but I like trios. I like it. I'm a big fan of House of Black. I love that Alistair carried a gimmick from one federation to another. And
Ring of Honor had a trios title.
I definitely, now that they have 3 people, and their match at that pay-per-view was really good. It got a little sloppy from the ref side, like he needed some control and got a little out of hand. But I really like that match. It was one of my favorites.
Good trios can be amazing, but man, if people don't know how to do trios, it can get ugly.
Yeah, that was one I saw and went, man, if they're going to be trios like this, they could tighten it up in the middle a little bit. Because I lost track. I don't know who the legal man is. I don't think the ref knew who the legal man is because they were flying all over the place. I was like, they tighten this up a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna be appointment television to watch.
Maybe they that'll be the Ring of Honor thing. You know?
They
have the title already, so.
Hey,
never know. They have a lot of titles for having an hour show every week. When you think about it, so we'll see how that goes. All right, I think we hit everybody. Tina, by the way, had some commentary here. Regal does have that vibe, and lest we forget Layla and Regal.
Oh yeah.
Now, if they can have that momentum for the women's tag, would be great. I think that's the next step.
Well, okay. The problem with the women's tag is they just don't have the roster. They don't have enough people to do it. Like, the fact that we're getting a triple threat women's tag title match at Mania is kind of amazing enough. They got rid of all their tag teams.
I'm about to say, I mean, just throwing together Sasha and Naomi. I mean, it's a callback to Team Bad, but that was...
Who was president then?
That might have been an Obama. That might be.
That was Obama. That was Obama. Yeah.
That's, by the way, that's one of those ways that you can always tell when somebody like pitches an idea or when somebody calls back to somebody. If you can go like, "Oh yeah, who was president when you did that?" Always a good way to, you know.
No, wait, which Bush?
Yeah.
That's a different question.
Yes. Guys, thank you so much. I think we got everybody here. Chris, thank you so much. Ryse Wrestling.
Yeah, let me hit the plug real quick. Okay, Ryse Pro Wrestling, the Iceman coming Saturday, March 12th at the Uniontown Mall, Uniontown, Pennsylvania, sponsored by Geekadrome for the Ryse Grand Championship. Pretty Boy Smooth goes against the former champion, the Iceman Tony Johnson. The Great Success takes on Keith Hott and Tyler Vox in a rematch for the tag team titles. We've got the Runway versus Tad Jarvis and Brandon Kay, Noir versus Chase Oliver, Laura Lovelace versus the Final Girl Ziggy Heim, Edric Everhart versus Drake Braddock, Wide Open Dalton Throttle versus Cowpoke Paul, and the successful another huge Cowpoke Paul. He's so over. And
I don't think I've had a conversation with him, but I think I'm booking him for this show. Is he busy next week?
I'll ask.
Okay.
And Jordan Styles goes one-on-one with the Reaper Matt Connor. Tickets on sale at risewrestling.com. Follow him on social media. If you want to follow me on social media, at Chris LeRusso on Twitter, at Chris LeRusso on Instagram, and please follow Ryse Wrestling.
There it is. And, of course, if you want to catch up what's going on, indiewrestling.us.network.YouTube. No, there's whatever. It's on there.
indiewrestling.us for all of Ryse's stuff. Go.
Plenty of clips if you want to check it out. Clips are coming out now for the last Ryse Wrestling show. So keep an eye out for those in the next coming days, including a free feature match Thursday.
Okay.
On the Indie Wrestling YouTube and Facebook page.
Check that out.
It is the Jace Carr match.
Jace Carr and Reaper Matt Connor.
And Reaper Matt Connor. There you go. So you'll be checking that. So if you want to see what's going on with Ryse Wrestling in the venue they are in now. Very cool. It's out there around the Uniontown Mall. And
former Burlington Coat Factory. If you get to the mall and you're like, where the hell is it? Former Burlington Coat Factory, go to the pizza shop. It's right across from there.
And if you're still big into the social distancing, lots of space.
Yeah, you can be a football field away.
I'll be ringside.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Chad will be there. Ringside filming.
Ringside.
Back at it again. Well, no, you did the last one too. My schedule is we're still working out in my head.
Someone almost fell on me last show. I forget who it was.
It was Jace Carr.
Yeah.
Oh, good. On the free match. You can see it.
Watch him almost die.
Yeah, as long as Ronnie Starks didn't hurt anybody this time.
Yeah,
so.
someone got close.
Ronnie
like,
Starks,
that's a little close. Ooh. But I like the excitement.
There's boil on the ass of
Rise
humanity.
of the water.
He was almost on the show tonight, but I see why not.
He's just a reprehensible human being. So.
Oh, that's why we book him.
Is that why you sent him to my show?
Well, the conversation is, I need to use him. Are you? And you're like, you can have him.
Ronnie, I'm half kidding.
That seems about right. Ronnie, love you. Get well soon. I know he's feeling a little under the weather tonight. So.
Well, see that now if he dies, I'll feel terrible.
I don't think he's that under the weather, but
you know what, Chris? As long as the show's on Wednesday, you're good.
Yeah, that's right.
As long as it's on Wednesday.
That's right. He doesn't know what night it is anyway, so he'll be walking into the Stronghold Academy Friday night like, sup guys, like.
Yeah, you know it's Sunday. You know what that means.
He's going to walk into the studio tomorrow, ready for the show.
Yeah, I'm kind of ready for that. Right in the middle of my pre-production meeting.
Sorg, I got a story for you after we get off the air.
Okay, let's get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Mayhem
Ow.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at